So what's a serious adverse event, you ask? Well, it includes death, life-threatening illness, hospitalisation or prolongation of hospitalisation, permanent disability, congenital anomaly and birth defect. Pretty serious stuff. But enough about the science. What about the tough decisions Dan was forced to make during the past 2 years?
I accept that many of the decisions that had to be made, not just in Melbourne and Victoria, but across our country, were very, very challenging. Very challenging.
That caused harm and distress?
Well, they were very challenging, and that's why we provided support, a lot of support to all of those Victorians and indeed other governments for their citizens who were impacted by this 1 in 100 year event.
An event, huh? Notice how he calls it an event, not a pandemic. That's because everyone now knows the decisions Andrews and other politicians made were in response to a virus whose lethality they were deliberately overstating. It's become a textbook political sleight of hand. Create a problem, then portray yourself as the Messiah by magnanimously providing a solution. Andrews is so magnanimous that he even wanted to help non-Victorians. Thanks, but no thanks, Dan. Then he played the strangest card of all, the one where he was the bloke who kept the state of Victoria together during a tough time.
And that's what makes, I think, all of us as Victorians so proud to think that we have got through this event because we stuck together, because we looked out for each other, because we had that faith in science as well as compassion. I think we've demonstrated to, well, if I could just finish the answer, I'll make the point again as I have many times, but you can't make this point enough. Victorians have demonstrated to other states who thought taking pot shots at us was a good thing to do, and indeed we've just demonstrated for everyone that when we stick together, we can achieve anything.
Yeah, you can't make this point often enough either, Dan. By sticking together, he means dobbing in your neighbours. He means cops arresting a pregnant woman at home in her dressing gown. He means shooting unarmed citizens with rubber bullets in the street for peacefully protesting. He means closing borders on a whim and locking up Victorians who had the audacity to want to return to their homes. And he means cops slamming a man's head into the concrete floor of a train station. You get the picture. Andrews went on to say the whole disaster was caused by a lack of vaccines, which of course wasn't his fault, it was the federal government's. And herein lies Andrews' ultimate flaw. Andrews obviously thinks he is a modern Moses, leading the Victorianite exodus from the COVID desert, but still blames others when things go wrong. Leaders don't do that. History shows that people who pursue excessive power always come a cropper this way. There's a fantastic new book about COVID called The Psychology of Totalitarianism by Belgian psychologist Matthias Desmet. It's a bit heavy and so it's not for everyone, but there is one line in it that sums up Andrews very well. Quote, "The person who wants to be in the position of the absolute master falls into errors and inconsistencies, and eventually into outright lies and deceit." Unquote. Andrews' errors and inconsistencies have been obvious for months, if not years, and now his lies are starting to show as well. It's going to be a struggle for him to keep a lid on them between now and the state election on November 26.